The big gap, from my view, is that all of the metrics are not set up in the funnel to where 1 + 2 = 3. If you have a true funnel, then like if I dried up marketing, then sales should dry up. If I put into marketing, then sales should surge. If you don't see that relationship happening, then you don't truly have a funnel. There's a disconnect. So sales reps essentially think that marketing doesn't ever help them, doesn't actually give them demo requests, just does a whole bunch of fluffy stuff and it's basically metriced on nothing. And the marketers look at the sales reps and they're like, well, you never even go to any of our events. You never attend the booths. You don't do any of the hard work. You don't even follow up on the list. So you're full of crap too. And so on and on and on we go. And it all comes down to how they are metriced is different and it doesn't add up to 10.
All right, elephant in the room, sales and marketing can't live with them, can't live without them. And we want to show maybe a better way for both of these teams to come together and actually build this funnel. We're here with Becc. Let's talk about the root of the problem and let's talk about some metrics that will hopefully align both teams. What is wrong when you look at marketing and sales and why can't we get along together?
Get along, yeah. Well, I think that the interesting thing about the problem is it's so big. Like every team is running into it. And even if they say like, oh, we don't, we get along and blah, blah, I'm like, no, you don't. You just don't.
Yeah.
Like I hear you at the water cooler and you don't. And you hate each other's guts. And I think it's because most of it all comes down to the KPIs. Like it's a very simple problem in my view. It's simple to solve. I think that the only complexity behind solving it is that people have to divorce themselves from the idea that how we're doing things is working. And they know it in the outcome that it's not working. But I think we've tried to solve this problem for so long in a way that was ineffective. So it's like at one point you have to pivot and shift and like be analytical about the situation. So the big gap, from my view, is that all of the metrics are not set up in the funnel to where 1 + 2 = 3.
Mm-hmm.
So marketers are measuring MQLs. The first problem is that an MQL can be anyone who downloaded content.
Yeah.
Or anyone who attended a webinar.
Yeah.
Or anyone who attended an event. And so the things that leaves out is this the right person? Meaning, do they have the right level of title or discipline of title?
Okay.
Do they have, are they a part of the right company? And that could be segment, that could be vertical, that could be, employee headcount, tech stack, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Third thing that's left out is, are they already a current customer? So someone who's already a current customer could, like someone from that company, could download content, they become an MQL.
I see.
And then the fourth one is, are they already currently in cycle? So marketing is supposed to cause new demand, right? Or like new pipeline for people. So if I'm already talking to someone, I'm already selling into them and they download content, that doesn't help my selling efforts. Like it might hypothetically help me close them more.
Sure.
But it doesn't help me get new pipeline. And so this big fat pipeline up front of quote unquote MQLs and how MQL is defined and lead scoring has punted, it's one of the reasons, has punted the entire thing into the sewer. So the sales team feels like to a large degree gaslit that they're like, yeah, we're going to get you more pipeline. We're going to get you more, we have 10,000 new MQLs. And they're like, but I don't see it on the back end. So they don't dig into the math.
Yeah.
But I think that is one problem. Another problem that I throw kind of in that similar bucket is an MQL that's a demo request, meaning a hand raiser, an MQL that's for any other reason other than hand raiser, content download, webinar, event attendee, very different motions.
100%.
One is ready to talk to you, wants to talk to you, one isn't. And they're all lumped together under the same homogeneous name of MQL and treated the same.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, sales reps can't even tell the difference, right? They're just given MQLs, and one is declared intent of, hey, I think we have a problem that's worth solving here, and other is maybe we're still going through our buyer journey.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Well, the other thing to think about too is these aren't usually handed to sales, like with the entrance of sales development. They're calling on webinar leads, content downloads, and demo requests. So they evaluate the list. Sales development evaluates the list. They're like, okay, out of these 10,000 people, who of them are right role, right company, aren't currently in cycle, aren't already closed one deal. Also, do they have the right email? Is it a personal Gmail address? Is there even a phone number? And they're just given this list. And even if all of that criteria, which would be true, which what I see usually is around 10% of the time, as an SDR, if I'm metriced on booked meetings, it's faster for me to just go to the company that I need to go to, vet a couple of different buyers, get their emails, and outbound them that way, as opposed to taking the time to go through this list and got everyone, and like, oh, by the way, the 10% that's left, let's say it's at 10,000, people attend an event. So I've got 1,000 people that actually hit the right criteria. Then I've got to round robin them to the whole team based on who owns the account. So all of that time that it takes for people, they're like, it's just faster for me
to go outbound.
To go outbound. And so the marketers are like, oh, we'll just contact them more. And one of the solves that they've done from a KPI view is they said, oh, okay, well, we're going to metric marketers on influence pipeline. Meaning I'm like, you don't have to be a martyr. They don't have to be on closed won. There's a lot of different elements. Like I, as a marketer, am not responsible for, nor should I really be, someone being able to book a meeting. And then once I book that meeting, then pass them to the AE, I shouldn't be held responsible as a marketer or a sales development rep for actually closing the deal. So I'm like, but that is their verrayer. That's what they've tried to do about it. Say like, okay, I'm going to do a small part of my KPI that's on influence pipeline. But that's the breakage. And equip marketers, they're measured on MQL. Sales reps measured on closed won. So they take a look at the list and they're like, it's faster to just go outbound. Sales development sees the same thing. So sales reps essentially think that marketing doesn't ever help them, doesn't actually give them demo requests, just does a whole bunch of fluffy stuff and is basically metriced on nothing. So they don't hold them in high esteem, high respect, And the marketers look at the sales reps and they're like, well, you never even go to any of our events. You never attend the booths. You don't do any of the hard work. You don't even follow up on the list. So you're full of crap too. And so on and on and on we go. And it all comes down to how they are metriced is different, and it doesn't add up to 10.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy to think really their team revenue, marketing can hit their target, and sales is like 30% to quota.
Fine.
Right. So
there's no correlation.
I know.
Marketers are way past quota. Sales development's like half a quota. And then sales is like VP of sales is fired. All the reps are on PIP. And they're like, it's because they don't know how to sell.
Yeah.
And I'm like, crazy. Even put it aside the skill perspective. If you have a true funnel that are hinged off of one another, that the success is hinged off of one another, like if I dried up marketing, then sales should dry up. If I put into marketing, then sales should surge. If you don't see that relationship happening, then you don't truly have a funnel. There's a disconnect.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about that, right? So we've identified kind of the status quo, what's wrong with it, and we want to show maybe a better way for both of these teams to come together and actually build this funnel.
Yeah.
So what do you recommend? What does that look like?
So it would depend on if they have like a full-blown prospecting team or no, like if they have a full cycle AE team or they have an SDR team as well. If you do have an entrance of an SDR, then one of the things you can do for a marketing team is make an MQL only someone who hits a certain profile. And the 4 things I'd include is the right title, meaning the right level of title and the right discipline of title. So like they're either in sales ops, sales enablement, SDR, in my case. And the level of title is they have to be director level above. So that's the right title. I'm going to find as the right title. Second piece would be they're a right company. So it doesn't necessarily have to be within your TAM or your ABM strategy, but just like, 200 people and above within this vertical, et cetera. And that's the right company. They can't be a current customer, and they can't, unless you're trying to fuel expansion sales through MQLs. Can't be a current customer. It can't be someone already in sales cycle. And define an MQL as that, and do it like only one trigger, like meaning they only have to download one piece of content, or they only have to request a demo. So I'd say that's step 1 from my perspective. The second thing that you can do is essentially a marketer isn't metric on close won, but they're metric on what they can control. Getting the people that you want to sell into to download content. The SDR isn't metriced on could the sales rep close it. They're just metriced on what they could control. Was this a meeting for the person who hit the overt criteria of what I sell into? That's how I'd levy out the funnel. Like marketers, you don't have to be responsible for booking the meeting. on outbound or for non-hand raising marketing activities. Sales development, you don't have to be metriced on did they close one, but what you are metriced on is for marketers, did you get the people with the right profile, right title, right company that you aren't already selling into and aren't already a customer to download content? And then SDRs, did you book meetings with people who hit that profile?